So, hello everybody. So, it's March here this month, so we just thought here at the school we get ready for St. Patrick's Day, and what I plan to teach you is how to make a Paddy's Day wreath for your door. So we've had our spring wreaths and we've had our Valentine's wreaths and we've even had Christmas wreaths, so why can't we have a Patrick's Day wreath? So to make your wreath, you need a wire frame and you also need some real wire, and you have to moss up your frame. Now if you go back to one of my other YouTube tutorials, I have a tutorial showing you how to moss the frame. If you haven't got real wire, you could use a ball of twine. So then what you need to do is organise yourself and have little bunches of foliage. Now this could be foliage that you could forage from your own garden, or you could buy locally in your local garden centre, your local florist shop, or maybe your neighbour might have something growing in her garden. So what you need, well, what I'm going to use, I have a little bit of Pittosporum. This would be the blacky wine variety called Tom Thumb. I have a little bit of silver Sussex foliage, and I'm just bunching them together in my hand, no particular pattern. And I also have a couple of stems of ivy. So most of this ivy is cut about 18-20 centimetres in length, and I'm just going to bunch them here in my hand. I might have a stem of ivy at the front, maybe one at the back, maybe another one at the back. Again, there's no particular pattern. It's not necessary to add flowers into this, but what I have done is I have wired up some cymbidium orchids, green orchids, just to give us the little touch of green. So I'm just going to add in a little green orchid, but it's not necessary to add in the flower. If you would like to just keep a foliage, I've lots of ideas to make this very Patrick's Day looking, so the flowers are definitely not necessary. So have all your bunches ready. I'd probably recommend to have about 25 bunches in total. So first thing is attach the wire to the moss frame. And by the way, the moss frame could be a straw frame, or it could even be a frame made with Leylandii branches or Cupress, etc. So get your twine or your wire. What I normally do with the real wire is I hold it with my thumb, and then I go around the same spot about 3 times. See, we're in Ireland and we're doing Irish, a hain, a doe, a 3. So go around that 3 times, and that will attach it onto your frame. So now you're ready for placing your materials. So I've all my bunches ready, so ready to attach them to the frame. Handiest thing to do, I'm a right-handed person, so with my left hand I'm holding the little bunch. I'm going to place it onto the frame, but on a slight angle. It is possible to place it directly onto the frame, but to make your Patrick's Day wreath a little bit larger, just allow it to come off the frame slightly. And then with your real wire that's already attached, if you wrap it around the end of the stems about 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, and that's that attached. You then get your second bunch and slightly zigzag it. So maybe this time I'll go a little bit lower to the right hand side, and again with my real wire I'll go around the end of them stems 3 times as well. Then I'll get my next bunch, and this time I'll place it on a slight angle kind of outwards, and again with the real wire I'll go around that spot 3 times. And then we'll get our next bunch, and this time I'll go inwards again. Now I am going to hold it up just so you can see. I've got to mention I have tiny little bits of pussy willow added into some of these bunches as well. So this is what it's looking like so far, and I'll just turn it around the back so you can see the back of the frame. So you continue on, so this time the bunch is placed slightly on an angle outwards, wrap the real wire around 3 times, and the next bunch is slightly angled inwards, and each bunch is slightly overlapping. Now if you want to spare out the material, you could leave a little bit more space in between them, and as I mentioned, you could have the material placed directly onto the frame, and that will keep your wreath smaller. So as you can see, you just keep going. Like, this is really easy to do. There's nothing, to be real exact or particular about. Like when I'm taking up the bunches, like they're all different. Like there's no way this is exactly the same as the very first bunch that I showed you. The trick would be is to have all the little bunches pre-made on the table, which I already have done. So maybe anybody that has children, get the children to help you, like make up these little bunches. And again, don't panic that one bunch looks a little bit larger or longer or shorter than the other. To be honest, it really won't make any difference. If you happen to have a shorter bunch, just bring it closer to the previous bunch. And the opposite, if you have a longer bunch, just leave a little bit more space. As I said, if you haven't got as much material, just to show you how this is coming together now, but if you don't have as much material as I have here, As I said, I had about 25 of the little bunches. So you can just keep them directly onto the frame, and your wreath then will turn out an awful lot smaller. So what you need to do is keep your bunches much shorter. So I'm getting a little bunch of greenery, and I'm going to cut the end off just to make it a little bit shorter. And then what you need to do is tuck it in, get off there. You need to tuck it in under the very first bunch that you started. So just by slightly lifting that up, tucking in the bunch and getting the real wire and wrap it around it. And you need to do that to 2 or 3 of the bunches, depending on how large your wreath is. So let's get another little bunch here. Again, I'm cutting the ends off just to make it that little bit shorter. Squeezing up, off you come. And again, I'm just going to tuck that in. And at this, I say this last one now, I'll do it. I'm just wiggling the wire in through it because I don't want to flatten everything down. So like bring your wire, but wiggle it in between the pieces of foliage there. But this will always be the end of the wreath, or the finishing point of the wreath, or if you want to call it even the top of the wreath. Because when you go to hang it on the door, this is the section that you will use for hanging the wreath on the door. Now you can choose, do you want to put a bow on it? So I'm going to put a bow on my one today. And I'll show you how I make the bow. So to finish off, you just cut the wire, and the wire that's left over, you just make a little U-bend and you press the surplus piece of wire back down into the frame, and then move your greenery around a little bit just to kind of camouflage. So that's your frame there, ready to go, and it's ready for the bow. What I'm going to do now is make a string for tying it on the door. So I just have some of this green fabric ribbon, so I suppose about 2 meters of it, depending on where you're going to hang it on your door. And I'm going to get this ribbon and hook it around the frame where I finished off the wire, so it'll help to camouflage. I'm just getting my 2 pieces of fabric ribbon, placing them together. I'm going to tie a double knot here. Pull the knot really tight. Get my hand in there now, pull it really tight. Cut off that surplus piece where the knot is, and then I'm just going to wind the ribbon back that the knot is actually hidden, you see, under the frame. I'm now going to make a bow, and the first bow I'm going to make is using this organza. So you know us Irish, 40 shades of green, so there's lots of shades of green in this St. Patrick's Day wreath. So again, you're looking for about 1.5 meters to 2 meters of this organza fabric. And it's not really necessary to be really neat with cutting it. You can see I'm just kind of like scrunching it in and cutting it across, and yeah, it's a little bit crooked. You're not going to notice. You can be fussy if you want to. So you get your ribbon, and to make this particular bow, you pretend that you're putting a scarf around your neck or your shoulders, and that's the effect. But just when you're making the bow, you can't actually do it around your neck. So you get your fabric and you pretend that you're wrapping it around somebody else's neck in front of you, and you're crossing the fabric under their chin like the way I did. And then the back of the neck, I would grab it in there and bring it into the front of the neck, and can you see the way the effect that you get? And if you use something like a 20 gauge florist wire, you could wrap the wire around the centre of it, bring the 2 wires together at the back, and you can wrap 1 wire around the other. Now, if anybody needs a little bit more tutorial on how to make the bows, you can see with the organza the way I can open it out. If you go to our website, which is flowerschoolisland.com, and along the buttons at the top, there's one button called blogs. And when you go to the blog button, I have lots of I have lots of tutorials on how to make all different types of bows, and it's a little bit slower, and just for anybody that needs an extra little bit of tuition. So the wire here, I'm now going to stick it down into the frame, so down through the foliage, through the moss, in the section where I had the fabric bow tied on, and the wire has come through the back, and I'm now going to hook the wire around into a U-bend, and I'm going to stick it up into the frame, and I'm just going to trim these little bits of ribbon just a little bit shorter. There we go, just straight across, and I'll just hold this up so you can see what it looks like with the organza bow on it. Now, if you want to, as I said, we're going for the 40 shades of green here. I have made a bow, similar bow, in the green fabric, and I'm just going to place that on top of the organza. So we're really going for a little bit of bling and glitz here. So there's our second bow. Now you don't have to do that. As I said, I want to keep this fairly green because it is going to be a Patrick's Day door wreath. And then just to decorate it a little bit more, what I have is I purchased these little battery lights, and I'm just going to turn them on and hopefully you can see it. Here we go. So they're green lights there, and I'm just going to decorate our wreath with our little battery lights. So I'm just going to hide the little battery pack in here at the back. And then our little bunch, I'm just going to like wrap them around the frame and catching them in among the greenery and the foliage. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be real particular as I'm doing this. Now, just for anybody that's interested in the school here, so what we have here, so this is Kay's, or we work for, or we run Kay's Flower School, and we're based here in Dublin, Ireland. And what our main aim is, we do all commercial courses here at the school. So what I'm just showing you here on YouTube is just really giving people a little bit of a taster and stuff that we do like on our hobby courses. But our main job is that we run commercial courses here at the school, and we train florists for working in flower shops, or maybe florists who want to work for themselves, like maybe freelance. Or we also would get a lot of staff like coming from flower shops where their bosses or their employers would have sent them to the school for training. So that's what we do here at the school. And if you go to our website, which is Flower School Ireland, these batteries are all knotted up here, but I'm doing the best I can. So if you go to our website, which is flowerschoolireland.com, and if you click on the professional commercial certificate courses, in the drop down box you will see module 1, module 2, 3 and 4. So the module 1 is our beginner's course, and that's suitable for somebody who wants to start off or get a taste of what it's actually like. And then module 2 is where they go on to learn hand-tied bouquets, funeral floristry, etc. Module 3 is where they go on to wedding floristry, bridal floristry. And module 4 is where we do event and hotel decoration. And if you'd like to see some photographs of what the students actually make at the school, again go to the website and there's a button called Gallery. And in the drop-down menu, you can see the 4 modules again. And you'll see photographs of all the students' work that they have covered here at the school on the 4 modules. So it gives them a good basic foundation, and they're ready then to work in a flower shop. And we advertise a lot of jobs on our flower shop, a lot of jobs on our website. So that's what our batteries look, our little battery lights look so far on our Patrick's Day wreath. So the last thing to do to this wreath, just to give it a real St. Patrick's Day touch, this is something I picked up in one of the Irish tourist shops here in Dublin. They're actually all over Ireland. They're called Carol's. But again, I'm sure if you're watching from outside the country, it's all you're looking for is a little leprechaun. Now this leprechaun sings a song, so I'm going to put him singing the song while I put a wire around his hat. He's singing When Irish Eyes Are Smiling. The angels sing. We're a bit mad here at the school. So while he was singing away there, I just got a 20 gauge wire, a florist wire, and I just hooked it around his leprechaun hat and his little bum and his legs there. So what I'm going to do now is this wire, I'm going to stick it down into the moss frame just where the bow is, and hopefully it would look like he has his bum then placed on the bottom of the Patrick's Day wreath, and he's just sitting in the middle of the wreath there, singing his song, counting his money and looking for the the rainbow. So there you go, and there is our Patrick's Day wreath. So I'm just going to put him singing a little song again and we'll finish it off. If you have any questions or you enjoy that, comment below, give us a thumbs up, and feel free to email me if you have any questions. So start singing there, Mr. Man. Where is he? Bye, slow laugh everybody. Thanks for watching.